Welcome back to Mr. Wicklam's Virtual Math Classroom. Today we're going to be still looking at number sense, and what we're going to be looking at today is long division. We're going to be doing 2-digit by 1-digit long division. And in order to do long division, when you see this symbol right here, it is exactly the same as this symbol. So these two are the same thing. This just means that we are dividing. So we have 6. And we are going to divide 6 by 3. So as you can see, I have 6 cubes here, 6 ones cubes. And so we need to make 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3. So how many were in each group, or how many are in each set? 2. And we write that up at the top. Okay? And so that's all we're doing, guys, is we're just doing division. And what we're doing is we're just dividing 6 by 3 to get our answer. Okay, so this represents the number of groups. The 3 does. 3 represents the number of groups. This is the total, and this is in each group or set. Okay, so when you see this, this is exactly the same as doing 6 divided by 3 equals 2. Okay, so now that we got that squared away, let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is pretty simple. It's long division, and we're going to go through the 7 steps of long division. Yes, there are 7 steps. They're easy steps. They are steps that you know already, and they are steps that that you can do. Okay, and so what we need to first realize is we need to realize that this is called the divisor. Okay, because what we're doing is we're dividing this right here. So this is the total. So remember how we did division before, and we had sets, or total divided by the sets equals how many in each set. Okay, and that's what we're doing. Total divided by sets, and we're going to find out how many are in each set. So first of all, we need to know how many groups there are. Okay, so how many groups do we have? So the groups is always the divisor. So how many groups do we have? We have 3 groups. How many tens blocks do we have? What's in the tens place value? So if you remember from place value, this is the ones, this is the tens. So how many are in the tens? 6. How many are in the ones? We have 3. So what we're going to do is we're just going to divide this up. Okay, first you start with the tens. Okay, always start with the tens. All right, because then if there's anything left over, it can become a 1. Okay, and it's pretty easy to do that because we just exchange that 10 block for 10 ones blocks. Okay, so you start with the tens. So we're going to look at this. So we're going to look at 6 divided by 3. So we know we have 6 10 blocks, and we know we have 2 groups. So let's just add till we get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so how many tens blocks did we place in each group? 2. So that's going to be my number up here, and if you notice, 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. Okay, so that's perfect. Let's move over. So we dealt with the tens, let's deal with the ones. So we have 3 ones, we have 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. So how many did I place in each group? 1. Always helps if you line the numbers up as well. So what we can say is that 63 divided by 3 equals 21. Okay, and guys, that's about as simple as division can get. Now the only problem is that we can start to deal with remainders. Okay, and so therefore that's why we have to know all of the steps in order to complete this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you through the 7 steps of long division. Okay, the first step is we need to divide the first number. It's not always going to be a tens digit. It could be a hundreds digit. Could be 1,000. Could be 10,000. Okay, so therefore always divide the first number, should clarify that, in the total. Okay, this is our total, right? So first number is a 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the first number. I'm going to do it in a picture. I'm also going to do it in number form. How many tens blocks do I have? I have 4. I need to place them into 3 groups. Let's do that. 1, 2. I know I can't go any further because it has to be equal. Okay, so therefore, step 1, divide the first number in the total. I put 1 in each group. That's it. That's step number 1. We take a look at this right here, this number 4. We divide it into 3 groups, which we did here. We got 1. Step number 1 is complete. Okay, now if you both flip your pages, you're going to notice that on the next page, we're going to do step number 2. So step number 2 is multiply the divisor by the tens placed. So this is the tens placed. Alright, because I placed 1 10 in each group. So therefore, this is the tens placed. So I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to mark that again. Tens placed. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a simple multiplication. Multiply the divisor by the tens placed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do, and I'm going to write it on the side, right up here, 3 times 1. Because that's what I'm asking you to do. That's step number 2. What does that equal? That equals 3. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, great, I did that. So what does that mean? What do I have to do? Well, let's take a look. Okay, what I would like you to do is, because we know that we placed 3 tens all together, what we're going to do is we're going to write that down here. There is the tens placed. Sorry, this is the tens placed. I made a mistake. Tens grouped are right here. Because I grouped them. This is the tens placed. Mr. Wicklum apologizes. And that's grouped. Okay, tens grouped are on the top. I'm going to write that in here too. Okay, so let's recap. How many groups do we have? We have 3 groups. How many tens are to be placed? To be placed. Okay, how many are in our tens place value column? 4. How many tens are in each group? We have 1. And how many tens were placed all together? We had 3. Okay, so step number 2 is complete. Step number 1 is divide. Step number 2 is multiply the divisor by the tens grouped. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to move on. And so I wrote down here tens placed, which was 3, because we multiplied, which was good. And now what we're doing is we're actually placing the tens out. Okay, and so we place the tens out, we get 3. 3 times 1 equals 3. Alright, and now I've done step 1, I've done step 2, I'm ready to move on to step number 3. Step number 3, plain and simple, is subtract the tens column. Okay, subtract the tens you have by the tens that you placed. Now put my subtraction sign here, and what you're going to notice is that 4, if I take 3 away from 4, I end up with 1. Okay, so that's step number 3. Step number 3 is taking that tens placed, you just subtract it from the tens, and we end up with 1 10 left over. Okay, does that make sense? It's pretty simple, just simple subtraction. All right, subtraction, that's fairly easy. You should be able to do this. Now, step number 4. This is what step number 4 requires. Okay, so now we've gone through all of this through the tens place values. So what we want to do is we want to do it again with the ones. But in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to bring down the ones. Okay, and so what that means is that when I bring this down, I now have 15. Okay, pretty simple. I have 15. So if I was going to do this in picture format, I have 15 ones blocks that I now need to divide. So that's step number 4, just bringing the ones value down. Okay, so step number 1 is divide the first number, which we did. Step number 2 was multiply the divisor by the tens grouped, which we did. Step number 3, subtract the tens column, which we did. Step number 4, bring the ones down, which we did. Step number 5, we're just going back right to the beginning. So step number 5 is pretty simple. Divide the ones. So I'm gonna do what I did here. Okay. So step number 5, divide the ones. So I had 1, just go with me here, this is my tens. Okay, now I'm going to divide the ones. So easy way to do it is you just keep going by ones till you fill up till you get to 15. And I get to 15. Or what you can do is you take a look. Okay, 15 divided by 3, count up by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I know that what I should get is, and what I got was 5. So I grouped 5 ones. So then the total amount placed was 15, which then, because what I have to do is I divided the ones. Okay, I did that. I got 5. Then what I need to do is I need to multiply the ones by the divisor. Okay, so 5. So I'm just basically, once I get to step number 4, I just go back to the start and I just do it with the ones column instead. So then what I'm doing is I'm multiplying the ones grouped by the divisor. So 5 times 3, and that's going to give me 15, which I put down here. Okay, you can't really see that too well. I'm sorry, my page is running out, but pretend my page extends if you can. Okay, so I'm going to try and do it right here for you. So 4 times 3 gives me 15. I multiply, I get 15, and I put it there. And then what I end up getting, and then what I do is I just subtract the ones column and I end up with 0. Okay, sometimes you're going to get a remainder. That's okay. That's okay. We've dealt with remainders. So if I had 1, then I would say my answer is 15, remainder 1. So what I would say is I have 15, remainder 0. Because that's what I have right now. 15, remainder 0. So I subtract. So 15 minus 15 gives me 0. Guys, that is the 7 steps of long division. First, what you need to do is you need to divide the first number in the total. Second thing you need to do is you need to, and we're going to go through it again, you need to multiply the divisor by the tens grouped, 3 times 1. Then what you need to do is you need to subtract the tens column. So when you multiply, you put it down here. Okay, so that's where the tens have been placed. So you put it there, you subtract, you get 1. You look at step number 4, you bring the ones place value number down right here. So you have 15. So I have 15 altogether to divide. Then what I do is step number 5, I divide the ones, which I did. I found that I had 5 because I counted up 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 5. I multiply the divisor by the ones grouped. Okay, so 3 times 5, which gave me 15. So I put my ones placed, go down there, which is 15, and then I subtract. Okay, it doesn't matter how many steps you have. It doesn't matter how many it doesn't matter how many numbers you have. The steps are always the same. You could have a 3-digit number. The steps remain the same. You need to do the 4 steps every single number. Okay? So that's division, 2 digit by one digit. This is Mr. Wicklum signing off.